Hi BookTube. So yeah, I'm filming in my new location. You can see the very busy wall. This took me like 4 hours, and then the day after I finished this, my parents were like, "Oh, by the way, we're moving to New Brunswick." Um, so I spent a lot of time on that wall for only getting to enjoy it for like 2 months. Um, yeah, but I'll enjoy it nonetheless. Um, and so like we're only here for 2 months, so I don't have a full bookshelf. This is actually my headboard of the bed here. Um, yeah, so I just thought I'd do a Friday reads and just kind of update you. Um, yeah, the quality of my channel might suffer for just a little while because one, I no longer have access to the good camera I was using. That was my brother's camera. My brother has now moved in with my other brother, which is like 45 minutes away, and I don't have a computer to edit because my computer went so there's that. So I'm just filming and uploading, not editing anything, just doing it all on my phone until my computer's hopefully being fixed. And then I guess I'll just continue using my phone until until I can afford a new camera. Yeah. Um, so this is the first book I'll pick up. This is Snow White by Donald Bartholomew. Um, and I don't know how I feel about this yet. It's from 1967. It's a very strange kind of retelling of. I hesitate to call it a retelling because it's not a straightforward retelling of Snow White, but it's about this lady who lives with 7 men, kind of. But it's more about the relationships between the men. Um, it's all like little snippets of things that don't necessarily interconnect. Um, yeah. And I'm just gonna read you. I see if it has this little thingy. It's a significant quote that I wanted to share. Um, you live in a world of your own, Henry. I can certainly improve upon what was given, Henry said. So like you live in a world of your own. So you have the world and you can improve upon it. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, it's 60s white man writing about women and living with 7 men. It's kind of what you expect. I'm still reading Lost World. I don't have very much left in this. But the thing is with me and books that have like highly anxious scenes, I like to put them down and like hold off that anxiety for a little while. So yeah, we have gotten to the parts, if you see the movie, where the T-Rexes have attacked the trailers. It's not exactly like the movies, but it's pretty good. And I'll just read you the last thing I tagged in here. Sure, why not? Which would be down here. Okay. Okay. Mass media swamps diversity. It makes every place the same. Bangkok or Tokyo or London. There's a McDonald's on one corner, a Benetton on another, a Gap across the street. Regional differences vanish. All differences vanish. In a mass media world, there's less of everything except the top 10 books, records, movies, ideas. People worry about losing species diversity in the rainforest, but what about intellectual diversity, our most necessary resource? That's disappearing faster than trees. But we haven't figured that out yet, so now we're planning to pit 5 billion people together in cyberspace, and it'll freeze the entire species. I think that's, you know, maybe a bit of the 90s worries about the internet, but I can also see parts of that being true as well, especially on like popular booktube where like everyone's reading the same books. Yeah, it's interesting. We gotta keep our differences. I just noticed there's a big tear in my sheets. Huh. Oh well. If I hadn't noticed it. I'm also reading and almost done because this book is so very readable. Actually, like it's when you start picking it up, and I have the pages marked out to read each day, and I'm just like, screw it, I'm just gonna read more. I'm just gonna read more of this. This is The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid, or Hamid. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry how to pronounce that. And this is about a immigrant from Pakistan to America, and he gets to be a very successful businessman there. And then 9/11 happens, and he's telling his story to an American in Lahore, the capital of Pakistan, and it seems like he's no longer westernized. It is very good, very easy to read, and I like it's all purple. So you can't really tell when the book's spread out, but it's all purple. And the last thing I tagged in here is, okay, yeah. So this might be a spoiler. Somebody is in a mental institution, and it says, so blank felt better in a place like this, separated from the rest of us, where people could live in their minds without feeling bad about it. And I just thought that's so nice. That'd be a nice thing to do, to just go away and just live in your mind for a little, even though, not necessarily, your mind might not necessarily be such a great place to live. Yeah. And I also I haven't really picked this up on too much because it is not that good. I hate to say that. I'm only 25 pages in though, so I want to give it more time. So this is The Foul in Blood by Robert Jordan. This was released before Wheel of Time, but it was re-released after Wheel of Time became a big success. So this is from 1980. Yeah, and it's about a man, I believe he's Irish, and he gets into some trouble, and he flees to America and ends up there during, I think it's the Revolutionary War. Yeah, the Revolutionary War, 1765. Yeah. It's, I'll give it a shot. But it's not a high priority right now. And the last thing I tagged. Oh, he comes to, he's just landed in America. He smiled now as they smiled then, like the sea wolf staking his claim. This is mine, he said softly. This is mine. And then it's funny because after this, he says, 2 rivers came down to form the harbor, and the place in Wheel of Time is called 2 Rivers. I thought that was interesting. I'm also reading Shadow of Night. I had to recheck that. And this one, I didn't realize I'm already like 100 pages in. Yeah, this is the sequel to Discovery of Witches, which I call Twilight for adults. We follow Diana Bishop. I can remember her name. This is the second book. Diana, she's a reluctant witch, but she's also a historian, and she falls in love with a vampire, and yeah, that's the basic story. And they get in a lot of trouble because witches and vampires, shouldn't be together or whatever. And they're hunting down this book called Ashmole 782, which may or may not have the secrets of like the creation of creatures, which the demons or the daemons, the witches and the vampires. Yeah, and this one, I don't think it's really much of a spoiler, but they go back in time in this one, and they're in Elizabethan England, and of course Matthew the vampire had been alive at that time, so he's trying to remember, things that have happened at that time, and she's trying to fit in, which is very odd because she's American, so she has an American accent going back to Elizabethan England, and people are like, where are you from again? And the way she talks and acts and stuff isn't very, and there's not always a lot to tag in here, but this one is oh, you are always telling me that I must have a plan or else be pulled into the designs of other men. That was good advice. And lastly, I'm still making my way through Wheel of Time. I've had to do the 2 bookmark things now because I just got to the letters from Pelafina, which are back here. So I had to stick another bookmark in there. But it takes me a long time to read a page. It takes me about 5 minutes to read a page in this because I'm making lots of notes. I'm trying to get ahead because Sina at Beating Around the Books is hosting a read-along in December and January, and I kind of just want to get a head start because it takes me so long to read. Like, with all my notes and everything on here. I wonder if the last thing I tagged is of any interest. Okay, I'm gonna read this. It might not make any sense to anybody, even if you have read this book, but as part of my theory on the book. And the quote is, "I stubbed my toe." Um, yeah. Also made a note. I'm like, there are wider margins in the Nav story as opposed to Truan's, so there's more room for interpretation. Yeah. What was the last note? Well, that would be one of the last notes I made. Oh, and then I creepy kids at the bottom of there. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much more to the story once you go through and reread things. Yeah. Just even from the front page, there's stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go through and make quite a few videos on this, explaining my annotations and thoughts and stuff as well. So that's why it's taking me so long to get through this. And I'm not good at math. I was gonna look at how many pages are in here. Like, these pages probably won't take 5 minutes, but who knows? I may find something that has to take 5 minutes on there. So 662. So, like, I don't know. I'm not good at math. I won't try and say how long it will take me. But yeah, I'm really excited. Okay, so that's my Friday reads. I don't think there's anything else on the shelf that I'm currently reading. I have a bunch of comics loaded. Unfortunately, all my ebooks were on my computer and I can't access that. So I haven't been doing that. Oh, audiobooks. I just finished listening to A Natural Color of History by 2 people, and I can only remember one person's name, Rob DeSalles. So I'm sure you can find the other person's name by Googling that. Yeah, that was interesting. It was not so much about color and so much as how we evolved to perceive color. There's a lot about evolution. Like, he started right from the Big Bang, what is time? And I was like, what does this have to do with color? And I still don't understand what that has to do with color. But then talking about, the earliest algae and single cell organisms, and whether what they did would be is perceiving color or not and stuff. So it was quite interesting, very heavily science based. And then at the end, he got to some, interesting facts about color in our modern world and stuff like that. And it was, he was talking about the body and different colors inside your body and like what it means. Like, if your liver turns black, that's not so good type thing. And he throughout the whole book, he's using very scientific terms, talking about like epsons and genes, like TC2, and I'm just making up stuff now. I can't remember all the exact terms and everything, but he was very, very, very scientific. And then he started talking about poop, and he said poop, and it was just very odd. I was like, you're using all these scientific terms, and then you're going to talk about bodily function, and you're going to use the term poop, because he did use urine when he was talking about pee. So I was like, why aren't you saying feces? But he kept using poop. Yeah, so I'm going to end the video there talking about poop. And apparently blue poop in babies is normal. That's what he said. Don't take me as like a doctor or anything, but I've never seen blue poop before. And I've seen a lot of poop in my line of work. Have a good weekend.